All right, everybody, welcome back to Ecast Music Group. Ecast, the producer. We got a special invitation today, and he's a hip hop artist from the Central Coast, California. Active in the music scene since 2014, but he fully immersed himself in the genre of hip hop around the time of the pandemic. His sound is unique blend with neo soul, East Coast hip hop, and West Coast influences. Since debuting in 2020, he released 3 EPs, 1 full-length album, and a bunch of singles. Please welcome the mastermind behind the Flower Express, Mr. Jim Flower.
Yo.
Welcome, brother.
I love that intro,
man. Thank you for coming down, man. I'm excited for this, man.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, man. Honestly, you know, I be seeing the work and I be seeing like the ethic and everything like that, and I've been dying to get in here. So I'm finally glad I made it in here.
I appreciate that, brother. I really do, man. And likewise, man. I've seen all the work that you guys are putting in. You and your boy Josue, who's in the back behind the scene here, man, and all the Flower Express people, bro. I see it and I like it. I love what you guys doing, and I'm just excited that you guys finally made it to the Ecast studio here.
Yeah, man.
How you feeling, man?
We here with some sore backs today. I'm
man.
Not gonna lie. You know, I got into a car accident like a couple days ago, and yeah, I mean, like the initial hit, you know, it wasn't too crazy, but then like, you know, as the days go by, your
it's
body
like
just
hitting
starts
the
to feel
gym.
it. Yeah, dude. So by the second day, I was looking like a question mark.
Oh man,
I was hunched over in my house. I called out of work. I was like, ain't no way I'm going in.
Man, well, I'm glad you guys are actually doing good, man. I mean, car, it is what it is. The car, you know, but you guys, life is more precious than anything else.
Most definitely, I definitely agree.
And yeah, bro, let's go back a little bit. Let's go back to your early life, bro. Like, you know, how was growing up in Fresno and later moving to the Monterey County actually influence your music journey and your creative process, man?
Well, like, I mean, a lot of people will say a lot of things about Fresno, and mostly it being like not a very like prestigious area to be living in.
Yeah.
Growing up on the east side, definitely it had its own like its own stuff for sure. You see a lot of things, like you see a lot of like homelessness, and you see a lot of like, you know, the gang activity, people, you know, just
it's more city like too.
Yeah, definitely. Like there's a lot going on compared to like where I live now, which is Hollister, and it's a lot more lax. And
oh hell yeah, Hollister is really nice.
But growing up in Fresno, I'm not saying it was like a terrible experience for me, but definitely like you had to have some hard skin living in that area, dude, for sure, because you know people try to punk you. You know, I got into a lot of fights growing up too. You know what I mean? Neighborhood kids, school fights, shit like that.
Yeah, you know? the fun living, man. Come on, growing up in the '90s, that's the fun stuff.
Yeah, man.
That's the fun stuff, bro.
But as far as like the musical influences I had growing up, you know, it was like a lot of like West Coast stuff, like Tupac.
Yeah,
you know, we had some like NWA in there, sprinkled in there. One of the artists that would constantly be in rotation would be like Bone Thugs and Harmony.
I've not heard of them.
Yeah, actually like Eazy-E. That was like a group brought in by Eazy-E and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Eazy-E too, you know, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube.
Yeah.
There's I had a lot of West Coast, a lot of Bay Area influence too. Like Mac Dre was on him a lot growing up as well.
Wow.
And like I think we were slapping Mac Dre way before like he blew up the way that he did and like is as known as he is now, you know, like
local legends, man.
Yeah, you know,
local legends. That's what's up, man. So, you know, there's many things to talk about and you know, since 2014 that you started your journey in the hip hop music, right, and focusing really hard since the pandemic. And it takes a toll because you have to hustle like for real. And I've seen you guys. But one of the things that you actually did, like what inspired you to create Paper House Records?
So before I really delved into hip hop has always been in like the background of my life. But mostly I was playing like in a lot of like punk bands, and I was drumming for some punk bands, playing in my own surf punk band. And so at that time, we were trying to get booked at venues in the Bay Area and like Santa Cruz and stuff like that.
Okay.
And a lot of the time, those venues, they wouldn't really take us seriously. You know, they would see, oh, you guys are just a bunch of kids. Whoop, 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 whoop. Like, so we created Paper House Records in a way to like kind of like deceive these venues as like we had this backing of like a record label.
Yeah.
But really, it was just like, it was just us like saying that we had a label. So like
forefront.
yeah. And but then like that blossomed into something a little bit more. Like we started having people, and myself included, be involved with Paper House, like have Paper House as like a name that they have under their belt.
Right.
Like, oh, we released this through Paper House, or we put this video through Paper House. It wasn't really as like it wasn't really like a label setting. It was just more like so everyone had that under their belt.
Yeah.
So that way it gave the illusion that we had more than we actually were.
Bro, fake it till you make it, but you actually, when you make it, and it's not no fake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, shout out Brett, shout out Bobby, shout out Bradley, you know, shout out Ed. You know, a lot of those people that I named off, they were there like from the very beginning, like, and really like help like bring up Paper House to what it like would eventually be now. It's not as active as it used to be a couple years ago. Like the pandemic hit and we kind of like really fell off with it. Like we used to do things like Paper House live sessions and we have bands come through. Like, yeah, like, and that's honestly kind of where I got the idea to create the Flower Pot was like those like early days of like, okay, we can do this. I can do this. So like,
so the Flower Pot, tell me a little bit more of that idea journey coming out of now that we know a little bit more of the background of where that it came from.
Well, I've always had this idea to like start a collective like that, but the person that really brought it into light was Josue.
Yeah.
He was like, we need a spot to like do content in. And then it blossomed into like, well, why don't we have other people come through and also do the same content? And then it turned into like, okay, now we're going to create a backdrop. Now we're going to have like the software and stuff in here to record people and do the live session. We're going to get the RBG lights. We're going to get the studio lights and have people sign the door. And, you know, like we had like just this insane idea that like we manifested it basically. And I couldn't have done it without Josue. Like if it wasn't for him, like really like being like, no, this is what we should be doing.
My boy, man, let's give him some random applause here, man. We're not gonna hear the other ones, but they're playing in the background.
For sure.
Man, that's what's up, man. I really respect that. And ever since I heard about the Flower Pot for the first time, I was like, I gotta go meet this guys because I think this is a good connection there happening creatively. Especially since everybody know that I'm not from California. So I'm trying to wiggle my way around everybody so I can actually give back a little bit of my knowledge to the community and everybody that comes around the Ecast studio and whatnot. Man, that's so cool, bro. So when you was growing up, man, what were artists or moments that really inspired you into being the all self-arounder producer, artist, everything that you are doing right now?
Well, so when I was growing up in Fresno, I had this friend, shout out Chris Pino, if you're watching this, shout out Chris Pino. But me and him, his brother had a band called Antidote for Anxiety, and they were throwing shows at their place all the time, like with all these other local Fresno bands and stuff like that. So that was like my intro to like what the music scene was, what it could be. And then I was like, I want to play drums. I love the drums. That was the first instrument I ever learned how to play. And that blossomed into, okay, and I want to play guitar now.
Right.
So I think it was like a lot of like what I saw growing up that really like cultivated what it is now. And yeah, I'm thankful for those moments. If it wasn't for those moments, I probably would have never wanted to like really like be a musician.
Right.
And as far as like the hip hop goes, like I said, you know, it was always in the background and I'd always dabble in it and I'd always have like this pipe dream of becoming a rapper when I was a kid. But I was a grungy kid. I was like really into punk rock and stuff like that. Yeah. And like, so all my friends saw it as like laughable at the time. Like,
Hmm.
oh, you a rapper? But you play guitar and you don't fucking comb your hair and you wear fucking flannels and look like you're fucking Kurt Cobain.
Breaking stereotypes, bro.
Yeah, like Kurt Cobain threw you the fuck up. Like you don't look like somebody who would be a rapper or would aspire to be a rapper.
That's funny, man. I can relate to that 100%,
Yeah.
man, because growing up, I was kind of like the same way. I was always the rock dude, you know. When they started hearing me singing reggaeton and stuff, I was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, from, you know, playing my national instrument from Puerto Rico, which is the cuatro, I'll show you later on.
Word.
But playing the guitar, playing with bands all over the place, grew up the same way. And when now, and this new life, you know, changing to doing like, you know, the Latino pop, hip hop, R&B, whatever it is, you know, I just do it, and people are like, "What the hell?" You know, it's not. This is not you. It sounds good, but it's not you.
Yeah.
But you know, you gotta follow that, bro, because you break stereotypes, and then people are like the aha moment. Oh, okay, he could also do that.
Yeah, most definitely.
They didn't expect that, man. That's cool, bro. So the first song that you released, Week Off, back in the COVID season, quarantine time. What motivated you to actually focus on hip hop during the quarantine?
Boredom, dude. I was fucking bored out of my mind, and I couldn't go out and jam with people. I couldn't go out and like, you know, start a band.
Yeah.
And like and at the time I was living in Fresno. I had moved out of the Central Coast for a bit, and I moved to Fresno. And right as I moved to Fresno, the fucking pandemic hit, and I was like, oh shit, because I moved to Fresno for the cheaper rent. That's besides the point.
I mean, come on,
that's besides the point. But yeah, I was just like, I need something.
Yeah,
and like I wasn't. And also, too, I wasn't getting the fulfillment that I was getting previously with playing guitar and like playing like the punk rock and like the alternative music that I was playing. So I was just, I said, you know what? I'm going to take this a different direction. I really want to see if I can do it. And like, I've always respected like the art and the craft. And like, I knew that if I was going to step into this genre, I had to do it justice. And then like,
that's a huge word.
And so with Week Off, I was just like, I can't just be pussyfooting this shit. And I also can't hide who I am or try to make myself look like
something
I'm not. I'm you know, I'm by no means like in the streets or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I love the art and I love the culture and I love like the people that have really brought it up. So I was just like, bar out. Make it as witty as possible. Really sit down and like look at what you're writing. Don't just be like
don't
this rhymes.
Do the punch-in lines, huh?
Like this rhymes. Like this goes good. Like avoid like the similes. Avoid like oversaturating it with like too many metaphors and whatnot. Like really get, like sprinkle in bits and pieces of yourself too.
A story.
Yeah, and like that song. Like I had I was showing that song one time to another person from Hollister, Young Glitch, and I showed him that song, and he was like, "That was your first song?" I was like, "That's like a really vulnerable, like, first song. Like that, you said a lot of crazy shit in there that like I would have never said for like the first time. Like I would have been like on that ego shit, whoop whoop whoop. I would have been trying to like, but no, you took it a completely different direction.
Yeah, you went personal with it.
Really personal, went really vulnerable. Like I wanted Off Jump to show people like I'm just a dude. I'm not anything other than that.
Right.
And here's my story. And hopefully you like it.
I respect that, bro. I really do, man. And so far, all your music sounds really cohesive to you. You know what I'm saying? It's not nothing crazy like flashing stuff. It's basically being you, honest you on every song that I've heard so far. So, bro, I really dig that because sending into a fantasy that people think, you know, no, I want to be that because so said so, and they're not even half of that person they actually say they are. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's really respectful.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
No, for sure, man. So your first EP, man, Forever Feeling Something New. It was released 2023. Mm-hmm. What does that project mean to you, man? And what's the message that people have actually captured from it?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm not sure if anyone's really captured any sort of message from that EP. I think that EP was more of like it was like a slew of like, I want to talk shit, but I also kind of want to get some things off of my chest as well. There wasn't really a theme I was going for with the EP. I just had some music that I had been holding on for a while after like the release of we were just teens and New Soul. I was just holding on to those songs for a bit, and yeah, and I thought they all fit well together in an EP, so I put them together. You know, like Back on My Bullshit, that's purely a fucking song where I'm just like,
yeah, just spitting.
I'm talking shit. I feel
spitting,
you know
spitting,
what I mean?
spitting.
But then like literally like the second track after that is like probably like one of the most vulnerable songs I've ever made in my life, where it was just like I really dug deep in there. And then the last two were kind of just like playful like songs that like I really enjoyed. You know, shout out Ari for coming in on you know, Nani, which is, and Nani, like Nani, it translates to like what in Japanese.
Okay.
And so like, you know, I honestly just had a lot of fun with that one. I wasn't really going for like a specific theme or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So actually after that you did the Muni's Beautiful Isn't, and that's a really cohesive EP. I felt really the emotions were really into it. The music was really inspiring. So from this one, what's more personal?
I think The Moon is Beautiful, Isn't It? Is definitely a lot more personal for me. That one actually is a concept EP. I was with somebody for a really long time, and you know, it didn't work out. Like,
yeah,
you know, like some things do. And that mostly is just like a 3-part story as to like how we met, how it ended, and what I did after, and how I felt after.
It felt just like that, man.
Yeah.
It really projected that emotion. That's for sure. It's on the song, on the whole EP. Once you start playing it smooth, and it drives you in deep, then you like release.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a really cool EP too.
I wanted to convey, like, especially at the last track, that like it gets better.
So after working all those EPs, man, you decided to work on a full project, man. Mandarin.
Yeah.
What inspired you on this whole album, and what inspired the cover? Though, because that cover is pretty crazy. I really like it. It's I don't know how to even put it. So refreshing.
Yeah.
When you look at it, it is refreshing. So what was that about?
I'll start with the cover. So the cover actually was actually, again, Josue's idea.
Oh,
he is the mastermind behind the cover of that. And honestly, like, I'm so glad I let him take the reins on it, because the original cover was fucking garbage compared to it. It was garbage compared to that one.
You kept trying to convince me that it was okay.
He's right. He's right. I did try to convince him that the original cover was okay. And I was like, no, it's like, because it was like this orange backdrop and it had like this Picasso-esque like abstract art to it. Okay. And then the reason I called it Mandarin was because of the color orange. You know, it was orange, you know, reminded me of an orange, a mandarin, a tangerine. And there's no real significance and meaning behind the name of the record itself. So the record is kind of just like, based off of like what the theme of like the album cover is. But so yeah, Sway came up with that idea, and that was a grueling photo shoot, because it's all practical. Those are real orange peels. That's really like, my face is in there, and you'll see, if you go on my page, if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see like the video of like what it took to make that photo, and it's
of when we were there, like actually doing everything. But up until that point, I had to buy a mandolin to actually like create even orange slices.
What?
Yeah.
I bought oranges.
Man.
I bought oranges from the Mexican lady at the Walmart parking lot, because I was like, we might as well like support some local businesses.
Hell yeah, man. That's crazy. But it looked really refreshing. It really citrusy.
Citrusy. I love that.
That's the word.
I love that.
But once you actually start hearing the whole album has a buttload of emotions. It's up and down. Really, you go kind of hard on some songs, and you mellowed it down in some others. And it's man, I really invite everybody to just go listen to it because it's an experience. And coming from the West Coast is a really high note. So, bro, how do you feel your sound has grown from Week Off all the way to now? So from your last single, excuse me, the photo lasts longer.
Yeah, picture lasts forever.
Pictures last forever.
Yeah. I think, like, lyrically, I'm so much better than I was from Week Off. Like, I listen to Week Off now, and like, I think a lot of artists get like this, but like hearing like their first like ever song ever kind of makes them cringe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely like those humble beginnings. Like, you know, you can definitely hear that I was trying to like really hone in on the craft. But I think from that point now, I think me in 2024 would kick the shit out of like 2020 me in a rap battle, dude. I would fucking floor that guy.
I bet. Like, I mean, it's remember the muscle, bro. The largest muscle, it's not the thighs, it's the brain.
Yeah.
Bro, you make your brain work lyrically, and whatever you actually do, it's gonna become a monster.
Yeah, dude.
You know, it does.
And like, honestly, like I'm always writing. Like, I'm always on my phone, just like I think of a bar and I write it down. But like then like also going to write a song, like I'll spend a cool couple of hours like rewriting a song because like I really want like it to like pop off and really I want those cadences to be on point. I want like not only the cadences to match, but like whatever like metaphors and like whatever I'm using, I really want it to like paint a picture overall. I don't want it to just be like this song that I put out and I'm rhyming. Like, bro, I want like the lyrics to like be just like an extension of like whatever instruments are also being used as well.
Right.
Writing sessions in the old Flower Pot was like okay, you need to switch things up.
Yeah.
It feels very repetitive.
Right.
Yeah. And it got to a point to where like
switch the cadence, switch the whatever feel.
Yeah.
Get a little bit more witty with the writing, like
bro,
where it's like you gotta hold yourself.
Let's talk about that because I actually saw a video a couple of days ago where they're explaining the new method of rapping that people have lost and they don't write anymore in the hip hop community. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about the big industry people. They're just doing the punch-in method, which the punch-in method is, you know, all the mumble rapping and stuff. They mumble, and then they come up with something or they improvise, which is fine for mainstream media. That's what they want to do. But the message is not there. The message is, and still will sit on rewriting.
Yeah.
Tell me how that process is for you.
Like writing like a song in general? Or
so
like,
when you're writing, right, and you decide, okay, this sounds good, but I can actually do more. How do you approach that?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So say if I quote unquote like finish the song, I'll perform it to myself a couple of times, and then I'll kind of just be like, that kind of doesn't make sense. Like, now that I think about it, it sounds cool, but does that really make sense? And I also like, that's another thing too, is like I want like the bars to make sense as well. Right. I don't want it to just like sound cool or like just use it for the sake of it rhyming with something else. Like, I really want it. So when I'm going back to rewrite, I'll really nitpick at like what I'm writing until I actually record it. Like, if I'm not 100% okay with how it's written and how I'm going to record it, it's never going to see the DAW. Yeah. It's never going to see the microphone until it's like 100% written out first, exactly 100% how I want it. There are some instances where I'll do that punch-in thing where like I'll punch in and just like improvise, just because like, you know, sometimes, you know, you reach the bottom of the well sometimes. Right, you know, sometimes you gotta let the rainwater come through and like fill it up. So, you know, we'll do the punch-in thing sometimes, but for the most part, it's like I'm at this like week-long battle before it even hits the studio.
Bro, I like that, man, because I'm the same way. I write all my music when and it's not that I can't do it, because anybody can probably, I mean, us that we practice, we can probably sit down and write a song in a couple of hours. Yeah. You know, and hone it and probably even perfect it to then in a couple hours. But to me, in my own personal music, it just doesn't feel like that. I come from the old school ways of rock and roll. Yeah. Write your actual song, rewrite the song, and everything else in between, you know, because I think that at first hand, like if you tell that to yourself and then you're like, I don't feel 100%, then you should definitely revisit.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's constantly like what goes through my head. Like, oh,
I like that you're doing that, and I think it's definitely reflected on all your music. It's reflected that everything that you're saying, it's cohesive, it's with a purpose, and it's not just thrown at random. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's a super plus, bro. For real, man. Let's give it a man for this guy, man. Because man, Jim, the man, he's killing the rap game here. I'll tell you. So, so how do you balance being an independent artist with all the demands and intricacies of social media marketing and booking your own shows and all this other stuff, man? How do you do it? Is there a secret sauce?
There's no secret sauce. Well, if there is a secret sauce, I guess a secret sauce would be having ADHD.
Okay.
Because when I hyper focus on one thing, I'm just like, boom, boom, it's done, boom, it's done, boom, it's done, boom, it's done. I feel weird saying hyper focus. TikTok's kind of fucked me up for that. Hyper focus, hyper fixations. I'm not.
That's funny, man.
Excuse me. But no, like honestly, like it really is some like more about like keeping a schedule with yourself. Like, you know, when you're gonna post, what time of day you're gonna wake up. You know, plan your day accordingly is what I would say, you know, and discipline too. You know, a lot of the time I don't fucking want to do this shit. You know, I don't want to get up and go edit something, or I don't want to get up and go, you know, but like, this is what I love. And I know that me tomorrow would be pissed off at me today if I didn't do it.
That's right.
So,
that is right. That is right.
You know, discipline too. You know, you got to keep yourself disciplined and keep faith, man. Faith is another thing too. Like you gotta have faith in yourself that it's gonna, you know, that it could work out, you know. Yeah. And honestly, like I'd rather fail than say like, what if?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, if you don't fail, you're not trying.
Exactly.
So, you know, I always say trust the process. It's gonna take however long it's gonna take. Stay faithful to your process. Stay consistent. And it's gonna come. It's gonna come around. Yeah, you know, it just take a little longer than usual, but that's, bro. Imagine if you stop digging, and right when you stop digging, it's where the actual gem is gonna come out.
Yeah, you
never know. So it's the charm of being persistent.
Exactly.
Persistency. It's key, man. It's definitely key, because if you're not, you know, hustling and grinding every day, forget it. You know, and then you're gonna hate yourself if you actually didn't when you're older, and then you stop. Yeah, so just do it now, because it's definitely worth it.
And like honestly too, like why would you want to stop? Especially like, you know, if you're creating a fan base and you're starting to get people to like really believe in what it is you're doing as well, not just yourself, but like you also have other people looking inward and seeing what you're doing, and they believe in you as well, and they are hopeful that you're gonna make it too. Like it's not a thing where like I feel like you're gonna let people down, but like you're not alone in it.
Right. You're not the only one that's going through the process.
You're not alone in it, and like there are people who like are also going through the same things as you, but also believe in the same things as you and want the same for you. You know, we have like, it's another reason why we started Flower Pot was because like we felt like there wasn't like an epicenter the way there is in the Bay Area and SoCal. And like we wanted to be that epicenter to really bring everyone together. Right. And
man, look, one of the things that I really like to ask everybody that comes around here, I'm an advocate for mental health, and I've always want to check in on my people, you know, and how they're doing and how they actually cope with mental health. And being in that industry that is so demanding of your creative mind, how do you feel about your mental health, and how do you cope with it, man?
I think these days my mental health is a lot better. You know, I used to really beat myself up about a lot of shit from like my past and like how I was growing up, and like, you know, levels of guilt, you know, shame that you would feel, and things that like I wouldn't let go of or haven't forgiven myself, that just kind of, I feel like I'm a lot better at taking accountability for those things, a lot better at forgiving not only the people that have hurt me, but also forgiving myself for also hurting people in the process of what I was going through. I think that's the biggest thing, is forgiveness. You know, like holding on to things. I say this all the time. It takes so much energy to have to just keep a negative mindset.
It does. My God.
It takes a lot of energy to have to wake up and remind yourself somebody did something awful to you, or you did something awful to somebody else. You know, holding on to that it takes so much strength to keep that alive in your body, when you can just let it go and be grateful that you learned from those mistakes, or you are not in a situation that you don't want to be anymore. Right. Yeah. Also, too, don't fucking, whoever says you don't need therapy, fuck them.
Thank you.
Therapy is great. Therapy is fucking awesome. Go talk to people. Do not be afraid to seek help. Like, you are not weak, and you are not less than for going to a therapist. You know,
huge.
Bro,
facts.
Like,
facts.
A lot of the people that we surround ourselves with, you know, I think in some ways it's a little unfair to them to drop a lot of shit onto people, because a lot of our family members and a lot of our friends, we're not equipped to help people through a lot of shit. So, like, go see a therapist. It does not make you less than. And also, too, I don't do the prescription medication thing too, but if like it's prescribed to you, like, that too isn't a shameful thing. I'm just letting you know that too. You know, I don't think people are less than for having to take prescription pills for their mental health. I don't think people are less than for going and seeking a therapist. Yeah. Whatever helps you is going to help you. Don't let people take that away from you ever. Right. Boom.
You heard it, man. Thank you so much for that. Definitely. I'm an advocate, and I carry that at heart, and people should not be ashamed. Always ask someone, because I bet you someone's the least you expected is willing to listen.
Yeah.
And sit down. So there's no need for you to suck it up and drive on like the old days. You don't do that. So yeah, man, thanks for that, man. So what's next for Jim Flower, man?
Shit. Hold on, let me pull up my fly emote right quick. Let me pull up the fly emote right quick. I got one more single I'm gonna be dropping this year.
Okay.
I haven't announced it yet, but I'm not sure what the timing of this episode will be airing, so I'll just name drop it. It's gonna be called Just Like the Rain. It's a track I did about a year ago with a dear friend of mine from Colorado. Her name is Adrian. She's great. She did the hook with me on that song. Okay. And I've been sitting on that song for a year now, like this time last year. Wow. And I'm finally like, okay, I think I'm ready to drop it, because it's a really good piece of music. And it's awesome. It's definitely not the neo soul East Coast vibe that I usually go for. Okay. So it's definitely going to be something a little different.
I'm looking forward to that.
We'll be seeing that at the end of December. I'm looking
forward to that.
But then, like, 2025, man, we're just gonna be hitting it hard. You know, we've been trying to get like Flower Pot Studio going again. You know, I'm creating my own home studio to kind of get the Flower Pot 2.0 going and whatnot. We're hitting a lot of like shows, so that way we can get the post show interviews with whoever that we went and saw that night and whatnot. And then I think next year I'm gonna try to drop another EP. I don't think another full length is in my future for a bit, just because like the full length, it took a lot out of me. It was a lot of hard work, and it was a lot of like, wow, I didn't know like this is what it takes to like really like make a full length and really like go crazy with it. But it was an experience, and I know I'd be ready for it when I am ready for it. I just don't think another full length is in my future right now.
Little by little.
Especially the amount of effort and creativity it takes to not only create the music, but also create the rollout and create the...
the rollout is really important.
The rollout.
I mean, even the cover art too.
Yeah,
the cover art.
I'm telling you, that's a cover art that would live forever, just like all the old EPs. You know, the Beatles walking on Abbey Roads, all that stuff. You know, it's the iconic. Beatles,
Mandarin cover.
Right there.
Love that.
Right
Love
there.
that. Love that.
Bro, tell everybody where they can find you, man.
Hey, yo, what's up? You know, again, I'm Jim Flowers. You can find me at The Real Jim Flowers on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Threads. I don't have a Twitter anymore, so don't try to find me on Twitter. You can find me on Spotify, YouTube Music, YouTube, Apple Music, SoundCloud. Basically, every platform there is imaginable, you can
Don't
find
worry
me
about
on.
Twitter. There's no Twitter either. It's X.
Oh, it's X. Bro, man, fuck Elon for that shit, bro.
Shit, right?
Fuck Elon for that shit, because I still be calling it Twitter. And
everybody is.
But, yeah, again, all my handles at The Real Jim Flowers, so go ahead, hit me up, follow me. You want a feature, you want me to do a verse, what have you, let's work. Or if you just want to come and say what's up, enjoy the show and tune in just for the heck of it.
All right, everybody. Well, you already guys know the deal. Comment, subscribe, share. Let our boy here, Jim, know that you love his music in the comment. And, you know, as always, this is Ecast, exclusive tracks and studio tracks. And right now, we're about to hit the studio. So we'll catch you guys later. Thank you.
Know.